Okay, it's 8 p.m. on the East Coast, 5 p.m. on the West Coast. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Rachel, will you please call the roll?
Sure, I'd be glad to. Rachel Anger is here. Cindy Bird.
Here.
Kathy Calhoun.
Here.
John Kalila.
Yeah.
Kenny Kirk.
Here.
Pam Delabar.
Here.
Kathy Dunham.
Here.
George Eigenhauser.
Here.
Yukiko Hayata.
Here.
Carol Krasnowski.
Here.
Rich Maston.
Here.
Steve McCullough.
Here.
Melanie Morgan.
So, Rachel, this is Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
There was a storm. She's suffering from a power outage and driving in the car trying to find a signal.
Oh, boy. Okay. So we'll look for Melanie to join. Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate it. Brian Moser.
Here.
Pam Moser.
Here.
Daryl Newkirk.
Here.
Oh,
Here.
there we go.
I muted myself. So
Thank you. Sharon.
Melanie's in.
Oh, Melanie's here. Okay. You're streaming live on. Okay. Got you. Thank you. Sharon Roy.
Here.
Howard Webster.
No, setting up. Well, let's take, there we go.
Is Howard on the call? I will contact Howard and make sure he's coming. From central office, we have Eileen Tartaglia.
Here.
Shelley Borowski.
Here.
James Simbro.
Here.
Shelley Perkins.
Here.
Thank you. Is Gavin Cow on? Did they get the link?
I sent it last week and I resent it today.
Thank you. How about, let me write Gavin down. Eva Chen or Matt Wong? Okay, we'll look for them to join the meeting later, and I will text Howard to see if he's coming.
thank you, Rachel.
Is there is there anyone whose name I have not mentioned who is in the call? We have a quorum then.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. I just got a WeChat from Gavin. Well, it was this morning. He said I'll be on the train tomorrow morning, so I may not make the first portion of the board meeting. So he said he'll sign in as soon as he gets a stable signal. Okay. Thank you. Everybody received the pre-noticed agenda. Is that correct? So we need to approve the orders of the day. Is there any corrections, additions, or deletions? Rachel, did you get any?
Kenny has something to bring up under new business.
Okay. And what is it referred to?
It's regarding providing chairs at shows at the socially distanced locations. Is that right, Kenny?
Yeah, primarily for the judging ring. I can discuss it a little bit further right now if you'd like, but
No, that's all right. I just wanted an overview of it. We'll cover it when we get to new business. Okay.
thank you.
All right. So that's one item. Anything else anybody needs to add?
Just that Howard is trying to access the meeting, so we'll look for him.
Okay. All right. Okay. Go ahead, whoever.
He should be in. I let him in. I saw he was in the waiting room.
Here,
He's in.
I got to get the list of members up here so I can see who's got their hands up. So,
Yeah. I see Howard.
okay, there we go. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay. Is there any objection to the ratification of acceptance of the orders of the day as our one new addition? Hearing no objections, by unanimous consent, we have our orders of the day. We'll move to item number 2. Rachel, that's you.
Rachel, you're on mute.
Thank you. I was hoping you would move down a little bit more. I think there's one more motion on the next page, but I'd like to move that we ratify motions 2 through 6 that require ratification.
Carol seconds.
Okay. Now, I just have one question, and that is for Shelley on motion number 6, which was an online motion. And the Mosers voted no, so it was not ratified, actually. Rachel put that the motion carried. I sent a note out to the board list that the motion actually was not approved because we had no votes. And Shelley, would you please address that? And how should Rachel term the vote when we don't have a unanimous vote on an online motion?
Well, I think it's just a failure, and then it can be pre-noticed for the next meeting and passed at the next meeting if you have enough votes that is more than required.
Okay, so we should put motion failed if it's not unanimous.
No.
Yes.
No.
Well, how about somebody raising their hand and being recognized? Pam and Steve, both of you spoke without being recognized. So if you want to speak at this meeting, you're going to need to put your hand up.
I'm
Rachel?
sorry, I was not muted.
Well, okay, you're speaking again, Pam. Rachel, you're recognized.
Thank you. I think there's some kind of verbiage we can use here that will satisfy the intent without confusing things. If we say it failed, then that means that it did not get enough votes to carry. It got enough votes to carry, but not unanimously, so that it goes into effect. So between now and our next meeting, I'll get with Shelley and we'll figure out something brilliant.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. George Eigenhauser, you're recognized.
How about something simple like failed to achieve unanimous consent?
Shelley?
All of that works for me. Technically, it's considered a failure, but I can understand that what we're trying to do is put out there that it's going to pass when we get to the meeting if people stand by what they have already voted online when we get to the meeting.
Okay.
So I think that saying it failed to achieve unanimous consent, so it must be brought up at the meeting, would be the correct way, probably, to get away through the intent that you're trying to get.
Well, I think that motion number 6 needs to be excluded from 2, 3, 4, and 5 because we actually have to present it and offer debate. Is that correct, Shelley?
That's correct.
Okay, so Rachel, can you amend your motion?
I will amend my motion to read that we're addressing motions 2 through 5 for ratification.
Okay,
And
thank you.
Carol will amend her second.
All right, great, thank
similarly.
you. All right, so let's call the vote on that. Is there any objection to the ratification of the motions here 2 through number 5? Okay, seeing no objection by unanimous consent, those 4 motions are ratified. Now, Rachel, let's go to number 6.
I would like to move that we ratify motion number 6.
Okay, so this motion, I need a second.
Carol seconds.
Thank you, Carol. So this motion is up for debate since it was an online vote and it did not get unanimous consent. So now it's open for debate. Is there anyone wants to speak on this motion? All right, I see no hands up. Is there any objection to the ratification of the motion as presented?
Yes.
Okay, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the ratification of motion or item number 6 here, please raise your hands. Okay, so the yes votes are Steve McCullough, George Eigenhauser, Cindy Bird, Sharon Roy, Carol Krasnowski, Rachel Anger, Pam Delabar, John Kalila, Hayata-san, Kathy Dunham, Rich Maston, Kathy Calhoun, John Kalila, Howard Webster, Kenny Curley. I'll just make note that a few of you abstained on this motion. Okay, so Melanie, are you still on?
I'm here. I can't seem to raise my hand. I'm a
Okay.
yes.
You're a yes. Okay. All right. If everybody will take your hands down. And the no votes, please raise your hand. Okay. Brian and Pam Mosier are no votes. Is there any abstentions? No abstentions. Okay, Rachel, you can announce the vote when you have it.
Thank you. 15 yes votes, 2 no votes, 0 abstentions.
Thank you very much. So the motion is agreed to. Let's go on to the approval of the minutes. Go ahead, Rachel.
I would like to move that we approve the minutes from March 16th, April 6th, and April 20th as published.
Great. Thank you
Carol
very
seconds.
much. Who was the second?
Carol,
Carol. Thank you, Carol. All right. Is there any discussion? Steve McCullough, you're recognized.
What happened on the first motion? We skipped to 2 through 5, but we didn't vote on 1.
I don't think it needs, Alan, can you scroll up? It doesn't need ratification. Is that correct, Rachel?
That's correct. It
It was
passed
yeah,
the
it was
entire
unanimous.
board vote unanimously.
Okay.
So it doesn't need to be voted on. If they pass unanimously, we don't have to vote on them. We just have to put it in the minutes. Okay, Alan, you can scroll back down to where we're going to approve the minutes as published. Steve, your hand's still up? Okay, your hand's down. Any objection to the approval of the minutes as published? Hearing no objections by unanimous consent, the minutes are approved. Let's go to business number 3, Aline, virtual annual committee.
There we go.
Okay, I'm unmute. I'm not going to go through the entire report. I'm sure but you've read it. So if there's any questions, certainly I'll be happy to answer them, but I did want to give you an update on the number of clubs we have as of today. There are 304 clubs who have submitted delegate information. So we have plenty of clubs signed up so that there should be no issue in getting a quorum. Our next challenge will be making sure that we get all of those delegates who have registered to check in on Tuesday. You know, I think that people, they somehow think this is different because it's a virtual annual, and it is, but we still have to do almost all of the same things that we do at an in-person annual. So it's going to be really important that we rally the troops to get everybody to check in on that Tuesday before the annual meeting. And we'll be getting with everybody about that. The only other thing I want to mention is that we are starting the practice sessions next week. We will be contacting clubs to have, or the delegates, excuse me, to make sure that they log on, and we'll be providing the regional directors with their information, their delegate information as well, to also encourage people to log in so that they can hopefully learn how to attend and participate in the virtual annual. So the team of James, myself, Shelley Borowski, Amber Goodright, and Kathy Dunham, that'll be the core team of people who will be attending we plan to attend all the practice sessions, so that all of those, all of us who are doing the troubleshooting and behind the scenes will have firsthand experience with these practice sessions. And then the next item, which I believe Rich is going to speak to, is about the delegate votes and how we're going to publicize that information during the annual meeting.
Okay, Rich, you're recognized.
Yes, Daryl, thank you. I'd like to move to amend the previously adopted motion regarding reporting of the individual delegate votes with the following 4 motions. We can take
Can
these
we scroll up so we can see them? A little more. There's one more, right? Yep, there we go. Go ahead, Rich. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bother you, but I wanted to have them up on the screen so we could see them.
That's okay. So I move to amend the previously adopted motion regarding reporting of the individual delegate votes with the 1, 2, 3, and 4 action items listed right here in front of us.
Rachel seconds.
Okay, shall we take them one at a time, Rich? Or you want to do them en masse?
If there's no objections, we can do them all at one time. I don't, unless anybody has any questions or objections.
I do.
Okay, then we'll take them one at a time.
Pam Delabar?
Why keep them for 1 year? We don't even keep our ballots for that long. And in the past, we have not kept the recordings of our minutes for that long.
Pam, do you have a recommendation?
I'm not particularly in favor of having to keep this record of the ballots past the meeting.
Okay, Kathy Calhoun, you're recognized. Unmute yourself, please.
Yes, the only thing, and I didn't catch this before, I apologize, Rich. The period of 1 year, you might want to just a year from what point? From the date of the meeting, just to be more specific. Or whatever period we decide it turns out to be specific around the period.
Okay.
Rich, what's the purpose of keeping a record of them?
Well, we weren't sure if we wanted to keep them for any technical difficulties. I don't know that it is necessary. However, we may want to keep them long enough for Nancy to review them.
Okay, is there any reason why they should be kept more than 30 days?
I don't believe so.
Okay, let me see. Pam Mosier, you're recognized.
Okay, thank you. While I appreciate what Rich is proposing, I think there are two topics that need to be addressed. First and foremost, has the committee prepared a contingency plan? We have all seen in the last year what can happen when an internet response is overwhelmed. Just today, we were unable to get into CFA. Vaccine scheduling centers and online unemployment offices have shut down. My own experience while I was working for a very large company showed me that it's not that hard to shut down a server, not just for seconds, but for hours. How will you propose adjust it? How will your process adjust if that happens? Will delegates be asked to sit there and wait until the system is up again? Which brings me to my second point. What guarantees are in the place and how quickly can CFA respond if there are obvious or subtle electronic votes that not being received in a timely fashion to count? I know of an example of where an email sent from South Africa to the US took 6 hours to get. We all know that emails are not always delivered simultaneously, and when you verify with a return email, you double the chances of vote and vote confirmations being caught in cyberspace. Some email programs have filters that slow down delivery as the program determines that the email is virus-free. Here is my suggestion. If all clubs have a unique identifier, an anonymous one, then why can't we show that club number voted, how they voted, and that their votes were recorded anonymously? Show it on a master screen and show that the screen has one of the windows on the Zoom call. This is how Congress and state legislatures do it. The delegate can see that their vote has been received and recorded, and everyone can personally see what the result is. In closing, I would like to remind my fellow board members that they voted to learn whether judges were fully vaccinated or not without any determination on how the information would be used. That precedent has already been set, gathering and keeping information when it is not entirely clear how this information is to be used.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Thank you. George Eigenhauser, you're recognized.
A couple of things, because there are delays, because there are slips, that's why it needs to be maintained for some period of time. A year might be too long, 30 days might be good. But there does need to be some ability for people to check up on this after the annual just to make sure. So it should be some reasonable period of time. You guys can figure out what that is. The second is the clubs are not voting by email. They're going onto the CFA website and voting just like you vote in other CFA elections. The only email that's being used is sending a confirmation to the delegate and to the club secretary and the club president. The club delegate will know how they voted already because they will have done it online. And when they close it out, it will tell them that they voted. So the one who needs the information fastest will have it in real time. And because the club secretary and the club president may not get it for a couple of days, I think that's the reason why it needs to be kept available for at least some period of time after the annual. And my suggestion for the language for whatever time period we use is for a period of blank after the annual meeting is adjourned.
Okay, Pam Delabar, you're recognized.
I am wondering if we're not setting a not a dangerous precedent, but a precedent that we may not want to engage when we start having our in-person meetings again, hopefully next year in Louisville. How are we going to gauge a raise of hands in that aspect? I feel that this is going to be great for a virtual contest, but to do this, so set and for so long, I'm concerned about any of the ramifications. And what it suggests to people is that the fact that a club does not trust their delegate in voting. It's something does not ring right with me on this.
Thank you, Pam. Pam Mosier, you're recognized for a second time.
No, this is just to let Aline know that Melanie says she's sitting there waiting to be put in.
Let her in. She's joining now.
Are you in, Melanie? I don't see her. Shelley Borowski, do you show her as being in?
No, I don't show her as in, but I did, it was joining and then it went away. So I'm watching
Okay.
to see if she comes back
All right,
again.
well, she lost her signal, so let's continue on. All right, Pam Mosier, your hand's up.
Yeah.
Second notice, okay?
Sure. Nobody has answered my question of what are you going to do if something happens and the system goes down? And how are all of these emails that are coming into you, if you're sending out 900 emails to 300 people showing how they voted? I mean, we're on one of the articles, one of the, and I haven't got my email back saying that I even voted. How do I even know I ever voted?
Rich?
Yeah, so I'm having a hard time following all that Pam Mosier is concerned about. Pam, are you saying that at this point in time, you are unable to vote through CFA's way of collecting votes when you receive an email?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that if I send in my vote, they're going to send me back saying how they'll send it back to me saying that they've gotten it. That needs to be instantaneously. It can't be 10 days later or whatever, because if I have a problem and they didn't record my vote correctly, I want to be able to object. And I'm not going to be able to do that because I'm never going to be able to see my vote coming back to me.
Okay, thank
Okay,
I'm saying that could happen. I'm not saying it will happen.
okay,
Daryl?
Rich, go ahead.
Maybe Eileen and James can answer that question.
They have their hand up. I was getting ready to call on them.
Thank you.
Pam Mosier, please take your hand down.
As far as the voting, you actually receive a confirmation on the screen in addition to the email confirmation. So as soon as you vote, you get a message on that screen live that your vote has been cast. The email confirmation is simply, it's almost like a backup. It's going to the secretary of the club in case that person wasn't the delegate. So the delegate sees right away.
Okay, John Kalila, you're recognized.
Oh, Melanie's waiting for the in the waiting room to let in right now.
Thank you.
She's not in there.
Carol
Krasnowski, you're recognized.
Yes, I'd like to add a little more to what Pam Delabar said. I'm wondering if we're overthinking this in wanting to provide emails to the president, the secretary, and delegate after each vote. I think it's maybe overdoing it a little bit. The clubs have always elected their delegate and have trusted their delegate to vote the way they want. This seems like a little overkill to me to be sending all this information to the president and secretary after every vote. I just think we're kind of overdoing it a little bit.
Okay, thank you, Carol. George Eigenhauser, you're recognized.
I think people need to put this in context. We already voted to make how each and every club voted on every issue public. This is actually narrowing it down, not expanding it. The original vote we took, when was it? April 15th? Oh, April 6th. On April 6th was that we were going to make this part of the official report of the meeting so that everybody could see how everybody voted on every issue all of the time. This is an attempt to narrow it down to, well, rather than just spamming it out to the world, who might legitimately have a reason to know? So a no vote on this actually makes it more public and makes it a bigger record and available to more people, because this is an attempt to winnow it down to the people who actually might need the information.
Okay, anyone else? All right, Rich, you want to bring it home?
Yeah, so I think what we need to do is, I'm okay amending the first motion from 1 year to 30 days from the adjournment of the annual meeting.
Okay, is there a second to that amendment?
Rachel will second that amendment.
Okay. All right, so is there discussion on the 30-day amendment? Rachel, I just sent you a text. Okay, Steve McCullough.
What was the credentials committee recommendation?
Rich, you can answer that.
I'm trying to remember what Nancy, George or Arlene, can you help me with that?
She was part of the meeting and was part of the input in creating this.
Right.
Okay,
And
thank
what
you.
did she say?
I think they answered that, Steve. She inputted what the final outcome was. Did you need further clarification?
Yeah, because if she said it's a year, then it has to stay a year because that's her committee. It can't be amended.
Well, I think we're the board. We can amend just about anything we want.
This went to the virtual annual committee. She's part of that committee, but she's not the chair of that committee.
She's chair of credentials that counts the ballot, that validates the vote. Correct?
But that's not the committee making this recommendation.
Okay, guys, we're not having a personal conversation on here. We're going to get recognized and people can talk and address the issues. This is not a chit chat session. It's a board meeting. Okay, so Steve, make your second comment and then your debate is expired.
I just want to know what she had to say about it. Nobody
Okay.
knows.
Okay,
That was answered.
all right. Yep, thank you. Sharon Roy, you're recognized.
Yes, I'm just wondering if, looking at the worst case scenario, if something goes wrong, if perhaps we want to say a minimum of 30 days and a maximum of, say, 60 days, just to be on the safe side.
Well, I mean, when do you determine what day it is between 30 and 60? We need an end date. That's what we need, one date that's an end date. So it's either 30 days, 60 days, 180 days, or 352 days. You have any comments on that, Rich?
If somebody wants to make an amendment to my amendment to 60 days, they're welcome to.
Okay. All right, I don't see any hands up, so we're going to stick with 30. Any more comments on changing the 1 year to 30 days in this proposal? Okay, I'll call the vote. All those in favor of the amendment. We're just voting on the amendment, and that's changing it from 1 year to 30 days. Please raise your hand. So the yes votes are Rachel Anger, Carol Krasnowski, George Eigenhauser, Cindy Bird, Kathy Calhoun, Brian Mosier, Rich Maston, Sharon Roy, Kenny Curley, Kathy Dunham, Pam Delabar, John Kalila, Hayat San, and Howard Webster. You'll please take your hands down every yes vote, and the no votes, please raise your hand. All right. Steve McCullough is a no.
No, Steve was a yes.
Melanie's back in and I'm a no.
Okay, Melanie's a no. So Steve, did you vote yes?
I did.
Okay, Pam Mosier, I didn't see your vote. You're a no. So Melanie and Pam are no. Any abstentions? Take your hand down, Pam Mosier. Okay, so the amendment is agreed to. So the 1 year is now changed to 30.
And the vote was 15 yes, 2 no, 0 abstain.
Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate the announcement of the outcome of the amendment. All right, so we're back to this proposal to look at all four of these, and we've amended it to read 30 days instead of a year. Is there any further debate on this? So I'll call the vote, and we're doing this en masse, and that's all four are included in the motion. So everyone that's in favor of the board action item here, please raise your hand. Okay, so the yes votes are Steve McCullough, Rachel Anger, George Eigenhauser, Cindy Bird, Sharon Roy, Kenny Curley, Carol Krasnowski, Hayata San, Pam Delabar, Kathy Dunham, Rich Maston, John Kalila, Kathy Dunham. Thank you all. Please take your hands down. And the no votes, please raise your hand. And the no votes are Brian Mosier, Pam Mosier. Melanie, how's your vote?
Melanie,
What's your vote? Yes or
I'm
no?
a no.
Okay. Any abstentions? I see no abstentions. Rachel, you can announce a vote when it's tabulated.
I did not get a vote for Kathy Calhoun or Howard Webster.
Kathy, are you a yes or a no?
I'm a yes.
Howard, are you a yes or a no? Howard, your vocal cords didn't work last meeting. Are they working this meeting?
He's showing a sad face, Daryl,
Well, I don't know what that means.
or a crying face. I'm not sure what that means.
Okay. How about a thumbs up if you're a yes, Howard, and a thumbs down if you're a no? Okay, he's a yes. Thank you. All right. Okay, Rachel, you're on.
14 yes votes, 3 no votes, 0 abstentions.
Okay, George Eigenhauser, your hands up.
Yeah, I just want to note that I don't know if it's the same on everybody's screen, but on mine, when I click reactions, one of the choices is a green yes check or a red no check. So if you have trouble getting your thumb up, just unambiguously say yes or no with your
Yep.
reaction screen.
Yep. Everybody see where that's at? I'm assuming everybody does. Okay, Aline and Rich, do you have anything else additionally here?
I do not.
Oh,
Did all 4 pass?
yes. We voted on them en masse, all of them together. Okay. Was that you, Aline, that asked?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, yes, they all passed.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're very welcome. Okay, let's go on to unfinished business and general orders. Is there any unfinished business to cover? Okay, I see no hands up. Any other committee reports to present? Nope, I don't think we approved any. Okay, let's move on to new business. And Rachel, I'll let you start here with the first item, and then we'll get to Kenny's addition.
Great, thank you. This addresses the split season kitten issue. I think we all agree that we have to do something. There was not really a movement by any particular board member to bring a specific thing forward. So what I did here was to take some input that we received from exhibitors who have a vested interest in this. These were the 2 options that were mentioned, and it's gone back and forth on which one is preferred. So I presented them in this order. It made more sense to me to have a hard and fast rule to go by. So everybody is under the same scoring system. And it was mentioned that exhibitors wanted to choose which season. I don't believe we've ever done that before. And although motion number 2 does have substantiation with the statistics that Aline gave us, it would keep things in place a little bit more the way it is now. However, I ordered them in this order because that is just what makes more sense to me. So,
So Rachel, are you saying by motion number 1, all kittens will be scored in the current show season? There will be no carryover split kittens.
So is that the way that we have done it in the past year? That is the way we did it for the show season that just concluded.
Yeah. Okay. Aline, you want to put up your chart of the split season kittens by region? Do you have that available?
Shelley, do you have that, or do you want me to put that up on my screen? I can get that. Oh, there you go. Just have to make it a little bigger, Shelley.
So just so everyone.
And Daryl, I'm putting my hand up.
Was that you, Melanie? Was that Melanie?
Yeah, whenever we're up for
Okay, all right.
discussion, my hand's up.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Yes.
I'll recognize you in just one second, okay? So Aline, if you can scroll through the regions there a little bit, all the split season kittens are in red, okay? So everyone should note that scoring them in this current season will rearrange the order of the awards, but no kitten will be knocked out of a regional award. Is that correct, Aline?
Well, the placements are affected.
That's
No
what
one-
I said. That's what I said. The order of the awards are affected, but no one will get knocked out of an award.
Correct.
Okay. All right, Melanie, go ahead. You're recognized. Is Melanie still in the meeting?
No.
Okay, anyone else want to talk about the motion here? Sharon Roy, you're recognized. Sharon, you're muted.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
I don't think we can automatically put all those kittens into last show season or this past show season. I had a call on Saturday for somebody that went to the wherever the show was in Georgia, that had a kitten that came out the second week of April and now picked up several points there. She wouldn't make a regional win if it was scored in last season, but she wants to attend shows between now and July when the kitten ages out. And I think we got to give those people who had kittens that didn't come into the show season until sometime in April a chance to say yes or no.
Okay. Anything else, Sharon?
Nope.
Pam Delabar, you're recognized.
We don't really have that many that we're concerned with on the split season kittens. I would prefer to take option 2 that Rachel has presented and give those particular people the option that they must declare by the end of this month which season they want to stick with.
Okay, thank you, Pam. Carol Krasnowski, you're recognized.
Actually, I don't like either of the motions. For one thing, I think if we move them into the previous show season, it changes too many placements that are already listed. Some kittens that were best kitten now are no longer best kitten, down to maybe 3rd or 4th. I don't think it's fair to those exhibitors. And on motion number 2, we have never let anyone choose the season in which they want to compete. But that's, in my mind, not any different than region shopping. And I just don't agree with that at all.
Okay, thank you. John Kalila, you're recognized.
I support the option of letting them option in if they want to, because some of them aged out in early May. They really don't have any chance to show at all, show much to get a regional win. And
Okay,
it's not that hard program-wise to have them opt in and opt out.
Okay, Rachel Anger, you're recognized.
Yeah, thank you. I also agree that option 2 is a bit out of the box. I hate that phrase, but that's what we're doing here. And this year, we as a board decided very late in the game to give national wins. Some of those exhibitors that showed their kittens did not really have a chance to put together a campaign and run their kitten for a national win. So I think that they should have the option to choose, because it's just not fair to them. My second point was, oh, I know what it was. Someone mentioned that there aren't that many. If I was one of those people, it wouldn't matter to me how many there were. I would be concerned about my kitten, the one that I'm showing and the one that my time and money are invested in. So I think, especially because we decided so late in the game, we should allow exhibitors to choose their season to be scored in.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. Steve McCullough, you're recognized.
Cheryl.
Who spoke?
Melanie.
Okay, go ahead, Melanie. While you got a connection, tell us your thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, I may have missed some of the stuff. I apologize if I'm duplicating. I looked at this pretty hard and listened to a lot of input from exhibitors. I don't think option 1 works at all. Option 2, although different and unprecedented, goes along with the fact that we're in unprecedented times and we've changed things on the exhibitors on the fly, which is what we needed to do to adjust for things. Again, there's not that many kittens that are affected there, but this gives people the option to get the titles that they have. And yes, it will change some placements, but it won't take that RW title away from anyone. And I think that's important. I think we need to give our exhibitors that choice. And so I'm not supportive of motion 1. I am supportive of motion 2. Thank you,
Great, thank
Daryl.
you.
Sorry to
Thank
jump
you.
in.
No,
I'm just
it's-
not sure how long. I'll
No,
be on.
no, it's okay. We want your input. So that's why I let you
Thanks.
cut in here. Okay. Steve McCullough, you're
Thanks.
recognized. You're welcome.
I totally agree with option number 2 to let them decide how they want their kittens to be scored. We've changed the rings. We've changed everything late, and they know best what they want for themselves.
Okay, thank you, Steve. George Eichenhauser, you're recognized.
And I can't support option number 2. The whole reason we started doing the split season kitten things was because some people just by accident of where their kitten is born winds up in an awkward situation. And we were trying to protect them from some of the negative consequences. But to give people a choice, to allow them to choose which season, allows them to manipulate the situation. It gives certain individuals who happen to have a split season kitten this year the option to make a determination that's going to affect other people next year. It's going to affect people this year. And the people they're affecting have no voice in this. They don't get a say. So what we're essentially doing is, I think Carol Krasnowski put it best. This feels like forum shopping to me. It seems like region shopping to me. People shouldn't be able to pick and choose how other people are going to get scored. And that's what's happening. When you choose to move into this year or you choose to move into next year, it affects other cats. So this isn't just a matter of giving the affected people a choice. It's giving a few among the affected people a choice. And
Okay.
I don't think people should be able to manipulate it that way.
Okay, thank you, George. Kenny Curley, you're recognized.
Yeah, option 2 all the way. We've had such an unprecedented time. Our exhibitors have been through neural hell, even to get out and get showing. And we need to give them some levity as far as their choices are concerned in this time. And I would choose rather to trust them than to think that they're going to do something nefarious. So with so few that we've got, I'm going to support number 2.
Okay, Kathy Dunham, you're recognized.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have a problem with option 2. However, as one region that has already started planning their regional celebration, I can't wait an entire month for somebody to make this decision. I need to know if this is going to happen, and if this passes, the exhibitors have to make a decision. I have awards that need to be ordered and completed. So we can't just let them have forever to make this decision.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. Rich Maston, you're recognized.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm a little confused and I need some help on understanding this a little bit better. I thought we as a board decided we weren't going to score national wins for the 2020-2021 season. Now, after the season is over, we're being asked to consider national kitten wins for either last year or the year we're in now. What are the unintended consequences here? Are we going to have premiers, household pets, and champions now wanting to be receiving national wins for 2021 because we as a board may want to do something like this? So somebody please educate me on that. I'm a little confused.
Well, Rachel, you want to explain it to him? Because I don't think we're given national wins. It's just regional placements for last season.
Yes, that is correct. And if someone wants to choose to just be scored this year, perhaps they know they're not going to have enough points to earn a national win next year. So, that's kind of the whole point. And whatever someone said about season shopping, yes, but that's on us because we have not made a decision. We need to make a decision. And so somehow this has to end up with a solution that's as fair to as most people as we can make possible. This is not going to be fair to everybody. And the people that can delay their scoring until next year and go for a national win have that choice. There's nothing in that guarantees they're going to get a national win. We don't know how many shows that we're going to be having in the upcoming show season. So for them, it's a total crapshoot. But they're going to take the facts that they have, the kitten that they have, and come up with the solution that is the most comfortable for them. So However, I do want to make a point of what Kathy said. She brought up something very good. And may I amend motion number 2?
Sure.
To allow exhibitors to choose which season their split season kittens will be scored in by, what do we want to say, May 15th? May 30th?
May 30th is too late, isn't it, Kathy?
Way too late. I'm
Oh,
thinking more like this week.
May,
Well, I think you need to give them 7 days at least, to be fair.
Give them 10 days. I'm fine
Carol?
with that.
Who said my name?
That was Melanie. Might I suggest that if they don't if they don't say something, that they don't have, they're scored the way we would normally do, which would be the next season. So if they want to move into the previous or, last season, they have to let someone know within 7 days.
I think
Rachel, does that make sense? Because there are some people who may not be aware of things like this.
well, I'm sure there's a whole lot of people with split season kittens that are watching this live stream.
I think they all are.
Yes, yes, I agree. I agree. Okay, Kenny, your hand's still up.
Oh, sorry, Daryl.
Okay, Aline, you're
I'll take it down.
Aline, you're recognized.
I just wanted to get confirmation on exactly what date are we closing this out? Are we giving 7 days? We're giving until next Friday? Whose responsibility is it to contact us? I assure you that we will end up with people saying, well, I didn't have enough time. I didn't know. Perhaps not, but that's usually what happens. So I just want to know how set we are on whatever date we choose.
Well, I think by Melanie's comment, if they don't respond within 7 days, they go to the old system, which is they'll compete in next season.
So within 7 days of, I need a deadline.
Today,
So by next Tuesday.
the 10th.
The
or
11th.
The 11th.
The 11th.
Rachel, is that okay for your amendment? And we need somebody to second it once we get
Steve will
that.
second.
Well, boy, I hope that's enough. I was thinking more like 10 days because that would put us at a week from Friday.
Okay, Kathy Calhoun.
Yeah, I was
I'm sorry. I want Kathy Dunham to respond to that. So she's on a timetable.
Well, I would prefer that the regional directors contact those kittens that need to make this decision this week. If we could do it by, no later than the 10th, I'm okay with I'm still okay to get my awards. I mean, I have 3 kittens that'll change the order of my awards if they all pick to go back to the previous season. So, and my event is June 5th. So I already am always on a deadline for our region to get awards in a timely manner. So the quicker we can do this, certainly the better.
Okay, Kathy Calhoun.
Yeah, I just wondered if any of the other regional directors that were impacted had any feedback about timing, if we were to go with option 2 or motion number 2.
Okay, John Kalila, you're recognized.
There's only one in my region. I don't think it'd be an issue for me to contact them.
Okay, Steve McCullough, you're recognized.
My award's in August, so it's no big deal. Whatever the timeline's fine.
Okay, Kenny Carley, you're recognized.
Yeah, any time is fine with me.
Okay, Sharon Roy, you're recognized. You're muted, Sharon.
God, I'll get used to this yet. I'm fine either way. We're not till July. So
Okay.
whatever works best for the person with the tight timeline.
Okay, Rachel, your hands up.
Yes, I just wanted to give a clear amendment to that motion.
Okay,
Are we ready for that?
yes.
Okay, my amendment would be motion number 2, and it will read to allow exhibitors to choose which season their split season kittens will be scored in no later than close of business, May 11th, 2021.
Steve, second.
Okay. All right. Now, okay, so we need to vote down number 1, and I mean, that's fine. You know, we've got it on here, so let's take them one at a time. Is everyone ready to start voting on motion 1? It looks like people are in favor of motion 2, but we have to vote on motion 1. John Kalila, Gavin Cow,
Yeah, sorry, I just got into the meeting, but so what if we allow people to choose whether to which season their kitten will be scored in?
yes.
What if some of the, because I think in China there are some split season kittens that meet the requirement. But if they get if they pick to be scored in this season, then you know some other kitten will be squeezed out of the top 25.
You've got more than 25 winners.
I think for some of the regions we do. So
Okay.
it might be so you know maybe they will squeeze out 1 or 2 kittens, and that will create some problem as well, right? So
Okay. Aline, you want to address that?
I missed some of it because James and I were talking about how we're going to trick the system to put certain kittens in this show season. So I'm sorry, I missed some of the conversation.
Okay, his comment was that there are more than 25 split season kittens in certain areas in regions in China.
No. My question is there for some of the regions, I think we will have a top 25 divisional winners. If we allow a split season kitten owner to pick their kitten to be scored for this season, then maybe one of the kittens that normally will be scored for this season will be squeezed down, right? So
Okay.
let's say the number 25 spot kitten will now receive a divisional win for this season because of the choice of a split season kitten owner, and that might not be fair,
Okay.
right? So
Well, it may not be fair, Gavin, but you know what? We can't solve every individual circumstance on this. We got to do what's best for the organization. Carol?
All right.
Yes, see, this is still my problem with letting people move into this season because the placements are going to be changed. I mean, if I had the best kitten in region 1, and then suddenly I only have the 3rd best kitten in region 1, I certainly would not be happy. Is there any chance we could just do tied placements for this season if we decide to move these kittens in?
Rachel, you made the proposals. I'll let you answer that.
Well, thank you. I don't know about the ties. That's a second issue we can take up, but in response to Gavin's point, no matter which season the kittens are scored in, they're going to bump somebody out if their kitten is that big of a winner. So it doesn't really make sense that's a valid argument because you know this is going to turn out where some kittens are going to be in and some kittens are going to be out. There's never going to be a level playing field.
Okay, Pam Delabar, you're recognized.
The chart that we got from Aline shows the current status as of the end of the past show season. Is that correct?
Yes.
So no kittens are being bounced out. This is the status as of 30 April. If the kittens decide to stay there, there's no change in the order. If they decide to go ahead in the new season, The new season's just starting. Nobody knows what's going to happen. I don't see what the problem is on if they make either choice. If they move out and of this process and go with the 21-22 show season, then that could raise current season, past season kittens up higher in the ranking of their region. So I don't see, the negative to this at all.
Okay, Gavin Cowell, you're recognized.
Yeah, so let me give an example. So right now there are already 25 kittens that all qualify for DW win in China West area, right? I know for a fact there are a few split season kittens. If I think there's at least 3 or 4 that I'm aware of. If we allow them to pick the to be scored for this season, the 3 or 4 will get into the top 25 and squeeze down at least 3 or 4 kittens, right? Out of DW placement for this season. So if I'm the owner of the kitten that's being squeezed out, I'm not going to be happy about it. And to me, the rule has always been split season is scored for the next season, right? And just because of the exception that's being made here, I've been deprived of my DW win. That doesn't seem fair to me. That's my point. Okay.
Okay, I understand your point. And Rachel, would it be possible that if any kitten gets knocked out of a regional win, we can go, we did this year before last, give a few additional regional wins there. We could go up to 30 in one area if somebody we don't want people to lose their regional win. So if there are 28, then all 28 would get a regional win.
Well, okay, may I speak?
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
But for the season we just completed, those wins are already set. There's nobody going to be knocked out of anything. So I'm totally not tracking the conversation here. If one of those kittens wants to score next season, that leaves room for someone else to come in. So I don't understand how bumping out is going to happen. I mean, they're already bumped out. If they don't have a win right now, no matter what we do today, it's not going to get them a win. So if they're in right now, they're in.
Yeah, but what Rachel, what Gavin is saying, they've got 25 already.
Yes.
So there are some kittens currently that are going to be scored for next season. If they choose to come in to last season, then those 3 kittens could knock out 23, 24, and 25 because they would be displaced downward.
I see. Okay.
That's the issue. Aline, you're recognized.
You said exactly what I was going to say.
Okay. So Rachel, are you interested in giving additional regional wins? If a region, if for some reason any region knocks a current regional winner out, we would go to 30 maybe, or whatever you want to do.
I'm perfectly fine with that. I would like to vote on this motion. And if somebody wants to make a subsequent motion to create extra placements, that's great. But
okay, well then let's vote on motion number 1.
Thank you.
And get that cleared up. I
Yep.
mean, if that passes, then we don't have to worry about anything else. Okay, so I'm going to call the vote, and you see motion number 1 on the screen. Okay, and that's basically all the split season kittens will be scored in the show season that just ended.
And I'm making that motion with the right to vote no.
Okay, so everybody in favor of that motion, please raise your hand. Okay, so the yes votes are Kenny Curley.
No.
Well, then take your hand down, Kenny.
Well, I know, I was gonna make a comment, but you went to the vote. My comment was, did somebody ever second that motion, number one?
Well, I thought Steve did.
Steve did.
Okay, then I'll take my hand down now.
Thank you very much. All those voting yes on motion number one. Okay,
Oops.
I have. No yeses. And all those opposed to number one, raise your hand. Okay, we have Rachel Anger, Carol Krasnowski, Pam Delabar, Sharon Roy, Kathy Dunham, Cindy Bird, John Kalila, Kathy Calhoun, Steve McCullough, Hayata San, Rich Maston, Kenny Curley, George Eigenhauser, Brian Mosier, and Howard Webster. Okay, if you'll take your hands and thumbs down. Any abstentions? Okay, I have Sharon Roy abstaining.
Daryl, sorry, just took me a minute to get my hand down.
Okay, Pam Mosier, are you an abstention or a no?
Abstention.
Thank you. Okay, Rachel?
And we need a vote for Melanie if she is on the call.
Oh, yeah.
And I do not see her.
Okay. Well, we can always add her if she comes back in.
So that's 15 no votes, 0 yes votes, one abstention.
Okay, so the motion is not agreed to. All right, so let's go to motion number 2. And that motion was altered. I haven't stated the motion, so we can change it up until the time it's put on the floor for debate again. Okay, so Rachel, will you read what you've amended it to?
I will. Allow exhibitors to choose which season their split season kittens will be scored in. Sorry, I'm looking up the date. No later than close of business, May 11th, 2021.
Okay. All right, now, does anybody want to add on if any kitten gets knocked out of a regional win because of displacement by the addition of these, that they will retain a regional win? Does anybody want to change that, or do we just want to vote on what Rachel said?
I have my hand up.
Okay, Kathy, go ahead.
I would like to change that as stated.
Okay. Up to 30. No more than 30 regional wins. Is that
No more
okay?
than 30. That's okay.
Okay.
Dave second.
Okay, thank you. So, all right, so we've actually amended it. So let's vote on the amendment. We'll extend up to 5 regional wins if any region winner gets knocked out of their regional win. Okay, is there any debate on that? Is there any opposition? Anybody opposed? Okay, by unanimous consent, it's been amended. All right, so Rachel, will you now read what the amended motion is again, please? So everybody knows what we're voting on.
Look up the date again. Sure.
May 11.
Allow exhibitors to choose which season their split season kittens will be scored in. No later than close of business, May 11, 2021 period. Up to 5 additional placements will be made available to any kittens that would have otherwise been displaced.
Yes.
Kathy
Okay.
seconds.
Thank you very much. Okay, John Kalila, you're recognized.
Melanie, can I get back in?
I'm back. I'm on the phone now. I finally got
Okay.
in on the phone. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Melanie. You want to debate any of this?
What are we on? Sorry.
Okay, we voted down number 1, and now we've we Rachel changed the wording on motion 2. They have to make the decision by May 11th. Then we amended and just passed an amendment to allow up to 5 additional placements if any current regional winner would get displaced by a cat that chooses to go into last season.
Okay, I have no comments. I'm fine.
Okay, good deal. All right. Kathy Calhoun,
Did you need a second on that?
I thought that didn't Rachel and you? I thought it was the two of you.
Okay,
Rachel, did you second that?
I made the motion.
Oh, you made the
I'll
motion.
second. I'll
Okay,
second.
all right. Okay, thank you. All right. All right. So Rich Maston, you're recognized.
Thank you. And clarification purposes, and if we do not receive the information by May 11th, they're automatically placed into the new show season, correct?
Under current scoring system.
Okay, thank you.
George Eigenhauser.
I just want to point out to everybody that in at least 2 regions, the number 1 kitten may get bumped if a split season kitten that should have been scored next year is given the option of bumping the number 1 by being scored this year. In both Region 1 and Region 5, the best kitten may get bumped if we make the selection an option.
Okay, thank you, George. Anybody else? Okay, so our motion's been amended. Let's vote on it. All those in favor of motion number 2 is amended, please raise your hands. Okay, so the yes votes are Steve McCullough, Sharon Roy, Kenny Curley, Pam Delabar, John Kalila, Kathy Dunham, Cindy Bird, Rachel Anger, Brian Mosier, Hayata San, Kathy Calhoun, Rich Maston, and Howard Webster.
And Melanie.
And Melanie. Thank you, Melanie. All right, if everybody will take your hands down, I need the no votes. Okay, so the no votes are George Eigenhauser, Carol Krasnowski, Pam Mosier. If you'll take your hand, yes.
Did we make it clear in that motion who people are supposed to contact? I know we said when, but we need to make it really clear that, get the clear instructions out to them.
Well, I thought we thought you weren't on, but we talked about the regional directors contacting them.
Okay, all right, sorry.
Okay, is that correct, Rachel? Wasn't that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. John Kalila?
Who do the regional contact in CFA to let them know someone's opting in?
Well, you'll have to notify central office. Aline, you let Aline know. She's the one that compiled this list. Okay, let's finish the vote here. Okay, so is there any abstentions? Okay, Rachel, you can announce the vote.
That's 14 yes votes, 3 no votes, 0 abstentions.
Okay, so the amended motion is agreed to. So the regional directors, you need to, Aline, you need to make sure each regional director has a list of these specific split season kittens so that they can contact the person and have a choice made and a copy of the email choosing which season they want to go in be sent to you. Okay.
That's fine. And just so you know, I will confirm receipt of that email. So if someone emails me with the information, you don't receive a confirmation that I got it, please contact me again.
Okay. Okay. So we're done with the split season kitten issue. Kenny, you have an issue under new business for judging ring chairs.
I do. In the last several weeks, I've been to a couple of shows, and one of the biggest complaints that I get, and of course I see it particularly towards the end of the day on a Sunday, people can barely stand up because they're so tired of running from ring to ring. And so I just wanted to bring up the fact that, we need to accommodate our people. What may convince us in doing this is that they did take a very accurate poll at this past show this past weekend in Atlanta, where people would tell put a marble into a bowl if they've been vaccinated, or put one into a bowl if they hadn't been. And then they had a middle bowl for those who were definitely going to get vaccinated. Anyway, the outcome of that survey was senators that in attendance at that show had already been vaccinated. We do know that CDC rules are fluent and they change daily, but they need a chair. They need a chair, particularly to watch these finals. And they can be socially distanced if that's what we require at this point. But I do know that fully vaccinated people are, particularly if you know them, are able to get together. So basically what I'd like to do is amend the COVID-19 procedures for show setup in judging rings to allow these spectator chairs socially distanced so that our exhibitors can have somewhere to sit. We're not a young cat fancy, and we need to take care of our people.
Okay.
So that's my my motion.
Okay.
Steve,
Anita.
second.
Thank you, Steve. Kathy Calhoun, you're recognized.
Thank you. I have no problem with this. In fact, I support it as well. I don't know, my concern is that the clubs still adhere to the local mandates. I don't think local mandates really dictate whether you're sitting or standing. So long as, if your local mandate says 6 feet social distancing or 3 feet social distancing, whatever it is, I don't think that they dictate whether it's standing or sitting. And certainly I think at this point in time, things are getting much better, and that's a true blessing that it is. So I would support this.
Okay. Do we have a copy of that so we know what we're changing? Aline, do you have a copy of it? I see you shaking your head no. Rich, do you?
Yeah, I gotta get it.
I think I have a copy.
It's on the CFA website, but I did look it up, and it's under show procedures. It's just a small section where it specifically states no spectator chairs are allowed in the judging ranks. So I just wanted to change that for their allowance, socially distanced and placed as such. So that's basically what I'd like to see implemented.
Well, let's let Rich find it and then he can read us the sentence. So we're going to do a strikeout and replacement. Is that correct, Kenny?
Yes, that's, as amended, and certainly Rich can chime in because I know the committee that he was part of had written these rules, as well as George.
I'm still looking for it.
Yeah, Aline, can you find it on the website and maybe share it?
I'm looking right now at the document.
I think I have something.
Okay.
So okay. So if you go to recommended COVID-19 event practices show setup.
There it is. Okay, number 1.
Okay, so so E says private chairs should only be allowed in front of the benching cat. So that would have to change because it says only. So that word only would have to, you'd have to strike that.
Well, we're talking about the judging ring.
No, but that says it can only be there. So that word there has to go. The word only. Private chairs should, because that would mean that someone, I mean,
Oh,
if you had a chair, a private chair, you could take it to the judging area if you wanted to.
okay. So, Daryl. Daryl.
I'm sorry, I muted myself because my phone rang. Go ahead, Eileen.
I should say, in the COVID requirements of March 22nd, and I could share my screen, but there's one called, it's number 5, social distancing is required in all areas. It's under the mandatory requirements. And in the judging ring, it says spectator chairs in the judging rings are not permitted. I can,
Okay, so that's what Kenny's wanting to change.
right.
And so I think his motion is to strike out where it says not permitted and spectator chairs in the judging ring are allowed as long as they're socially distanced. Is that correct, Kenny?
Correct, correct.
And you're referring to 5B, correct?
Yes.
It's 5B.
Where is that at?
CFA mandatory COVID-19 requirements.
Okay, that's not being shared on the screen.
I think it's up for, oh, no, it's gone.
I can do that. Just give me a second. I'll share my screen.
Okay, no problem. We just want to make sure we're doing the right change and not messing up. George, you got comments? Go ahead.
Yeah, the part we've been looking at right now are recommended, not mandatory. The 5A, or actually 5B, is the mandatory section. So that
Okay.
part has to be changed. In the recommended section, we can still leave it's recommended. But
Okay.
in terms of mandatory, striking out the last sentence and replacing it in 5B will take care of it in the mandatory section. That's the only part we really need to change.
And this,
Okay.
Because recommended isn't binding.
Okay.
this-
Kathy, go ahead. Kathy Calhoun, did you want to
Oh,
speak?
is my hand still up? No, I was just adding the 5B comment. If my hand's still
Okay,
up.
all right, good deal. Eileen?
I was just saying, so I believe all we're doing is removing this sentence, spectator chairs in the judging rings are not permitted.
Well, what you're doing is spectator chairs in the judging rings are allowed if socially distanced.
Okay,
Kenny, is that what your aim is?
No, actually, rather than call them spectator chairs, because we don't have spectators right now, just simply say chairs are allowed in the judging rings as long as they are fully distanced.
Okay, so strike out spectator. And then we're going to put chairs in the judging ring are permitted as long as they are socially distanced. Go ahead, Eileen.
sure. What about the first sentence here? Clubs
Right.
must identify stand here positions for exhibitors and spectators to stand. That's now kind of in conflict with having the chairs. I think that had to do with no chairs. Do I have that right?
Sure.
Yep, it is in
Yep.
conflict, but
Can we just add or sit after the word stand?
yeah, that would work. And that's got spectators in it. We're going to be able to have spectators at some point in time. I'm not sure that we want to remove that completely. I mean, we can always reinsert it. Kenny, it's your motion. What do you want us to do?
Are we still raising hands or what?
Yeah, I want Kenny to answer this though, and I'll come right back to you. Every time the screen share goes up, I lose my list of participants. Okay, go ahead, Rachel.
Thank you. I think the first sentence should stay in there because we're still going to want to have a socially distanced stand here area for spectators if they come in the show. And the sentence that we're modifying, if we just say socially distanced chairs in the judging rings are permitted.
Why couldn't we put between stand here a / sit? Stand or sit as long as it's socially distanced.
Perfect.
And then you can take out the spectator chair sentence altogether.
Perfect.
Kenny,
I like it.
you like
I
it?
like it.
So moved.
Okay,
George seconds.
thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna strike out the last sentence and we're gonna put stand / sit here. And that's the amendment. Okay. Aline,
Mhm.
you're recognized.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, let me take that down.
Okay, Rich Maston, you're recognized.
Yeah, you have to do that twice in that sentence. You have to do it after it says positions for exhibitors and spectators to stand / sit respecting. It says 6-foot social distancing, but you can say respecting local social distancing requirements because it is changing.
Okay. All right, that's a good catch. Thank you. Steve or Kenny, you okay with that?
I'm perfectly fine with that.
Okay. Rich, you still have your hand up?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, so let's anybody object to the amendment to Kenny's motion? Okay, seeing no hands up, by unanimous consent, the amendment is adopted. So any further debate on changing this? So let's okay, Kathy Calhoun.
The only thing is the place where it said that if you have your own chair, that we didn't change, and it says only allowed in the benching area.
Well,
So
these chairs in the judging ring are not local. I mean, they're not personal chairs. They're chairs that the show committee sets up.
as intended, but
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with that. But if for some reason, it just seems like for some reason, if they didn't have enough chairs and somebody brought a chair and sat there, that now they're in violation of the recommendation. And I would just think that while we're looking at this, that we might want to adjust that. Just a suggestion.
All right, George.
And I realize it's recommended, but it's
Yeah,
like you're allowing it one place and then you're saying no somewhere else.
It's easier to do these one at a time. So let's kind of conclude this one before we go on to the next one. But my thought on the next one is when people bring chairs from home and just park them in the middle of the benching area, which is what we're usually talking about, there's no little X's on the floor for them telling them where to put it. And that's one of the reasons why the chairs from home are a different issue than the chairs that are provided by the club, because the exhibitors are setting them up, not the club.
Okay, thank you, George. Steve McCullough, you're recognized.
I was going to reiterate what George said, because some of these people have those scooters they sit in and they have to be on an X.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Kathy, you got more comments?
Nope. I'm trying to find.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna, is there any objection to the amended motion that we're gonna vote on? Hearing no objection by unanimous consent. There you go, Kenny. It's passed.
Thank you.
All right, Kathy, do you want to make a motion about your private chairs?
Now, I agree with what George stated, that, you know, that there is no, the club is not setting up those chairs, so I'm fine with it as is.
Okay, thank you so much, Kathy. Okay, so that concludes that order of new business. Is there anything else? Okay, so we'll adjourn the meeting and then what time is it?